Welcome back, Spiffers. Welcome to the 5-minute Spiff tip of the week. I'm Jamie Woodhouse from SaaS Educators, and I'm really excited and glad that you've been joining me for these weekly series. I hope you've been enjoying these and that you've been having fun learning more about Spiff and getting the most out of your Salesforce Spiff system. I know that a lot of you are probably laughing because I call these the 5-minute tip of the week, and I don't think I've gotten to 5 minutes yet. I'm usually around 10 or 15 minutes with these videos. So this week I'm going to do my best to try and keep it at 5 minutes. I picked a topic that's a little bit easier to talk about. We're going to be talking today about teams and why teams are used within Salesforce Spiff and what we use teams for. I'm sure you're like, well, that's pretty self-explanatory, Jamie, but there's actually really specific reasons why teams are even available in Spiff. And I wanted to introduce that to you or remind you of those things because there's really only two things that teams impact. So let's jump into it. I'm starting my 5-minute timer for the tip of the week right now. And here we go. So the purpose of teams within Spiff is there's really only two reasons why you would ever, or technically that Spiff actually looks to find your team structure. And those two things are, the first one is for visibility. And what we mean by visibility is this is for statement access and who has access to different individual statement. So let's go to our Spiff system here and let's look at the teams that I have set up in my test environment. Right now, pretty basic. I've got an AE training and a BDR training team, and then a VP of sales team that is over all of those teams. So what we mean by visibility is if I go into this AE training team and I look at this team structure, Elise Tucker is the team lead or manager. In Spiff, we really use team lead and manager synonymously. So if you hear me say manager or if you hear me say team lead, it's really the exact same thing. So we've got Elise Tucker. With this team set up, she has access to view Ava and Chloe's statements. So that's the visibility piece. Elise can see Ava and Chloe's statements. The assumption here is that these are sales reps that are on her team. So she wants to see those individual ones to see how her team members are doing. Same thing if we go to BDR training, we've got Mallory, who is the manager over Brenda and Byron. She can see Brenda and Byron's statements when she logs in, but she can't see anybody else's. It's only those. Now, how does that work when you're using subteams or when you have a hierarchical structure of that? Now, this works at any level. If you have 3, 4, 5 levels of hierarchy, this works the same way, but I just have a 1-level hierarchy just to show you the visibility of how this works. The VP of sales is Charles Olson, and he has the sub-teams of the AE training team and the BDR team, which you can expand and see here. What this gives Charles visibility into is everyone who are team members. Now, I'm going to focus on this. The people who are team members of each of these teams that are sub-teams for him. So Charles has access to Ava and Chloe and to see their statements. And also in the BDR training where we've got Brenda and Byron. So Charles can have visibility or see Brenda and Byron's statement as well as Ava and Chloe's. He does not by default have access to any team leads of any of his sub-teams. So that's really key. If you're trying to give him visibility into Elise Tucker's statement and into Mallory's statement, the current configuration that we have it, he does not have access to those statements. All he has access to is the team members. The way that we get around that, so again, by default, he will not have visibility to that. The way that we get around that is if we wanted to, we could go to the VP of sales. Notice that how he has sub teams set up for his team in Spiff, but not any team members. We could go ahead and add Elise Tucker and Mallory here as team members. Now that they are on his team, then he will have access into their statements as well. So it just depends on how you want to handle that visibility. By default, if they are not team members under his team, he will not have visibility to any of their statements as managers of the sub teams. So keep that kind of clear in your mind. But we can now see, let's go ahead and let's go to Elise here and log in as her. If I log in as Elise, when she first gets into Spiff, she'll be able to see her whole team, the totals for her team, and that's the visibility piece, is to be able to see that. Same thing with Mallory. Let's go ahead and impersonate Charles so you can see that he now has access to everyone that we put on his team. All right, we see that he has access. This isn't a good example here. I only have plans set up for Ava and Chloe. They're the only ones who have statements, but you will see that he would have access to everybody's statements if they actually were on plans and had commissions built for them. So I apologize. That's not a very good visual example, but you'll be able to see it in your systems there. All right. So that's the first reason why we have teams within Spiff, is for visibility. Who has access to view other people's statements? The other purpose are for roll-ups. Now, I'm not going to get into the details to show you roll-ups. We will do that in a future video of how to build filters, a data filter that is a team roll-up data filter. But if you want to include the individuals on the team for a commission plan for the manager, let's say that they get a specific commission for a percentage of each one of their team members' sales, then you would create a roll-up. And in that roll-up, it will base it off of our team structure. So I'll get into this again in more detail when I get into teams and being able to, the roll-up, the team roll-ups and how to build those in data filters. But if you're building things the way that things are supposed to be built within Spiff, you really only need one team roll-up data filter, and it will work for all of your managers in the system. It'll just look at the team structure and say, oh, Elise has visibility over Ava and Chloe. We're going to count those in a roll-up. So Elise can get paid for what her team does on commissions. Same thing with Mallory, that she'll be able to get paid commissions based off of your calculations that you create in Designer for Brenda and Byron. And then Charles, with the hierarchy, again, the same thing, just like with visibility, he'll be able to get paid commissions for Elise and Mallory now that they're on his team, as well as any sub-team members. So basically anyone over here on the right-hand side. So just to recap, there are only two reasons why technically teams are needed within Spiff. It's to give statement visibility to managers. And I hope you better understand that now, how it works with sub-teams and the hierarchy structure with that. And the second one is through roll-ups for commissions. You can build a data filter, which is called a team lead data filter, that will allow all of the team members to roll up to that manager so that they can get paid for commissions there. In a future video, I'll get more into details of how to create a team lead roll up and how that all works out. But those are really the only two reasons why you actually need teams, on the purpose of teams within Spiff. So hopefully that is a nice little tip for you that you didn't know previously, and it will help you build better teams in the future. So last thing that I usually say in my classes when I'm teaching about this is really from a technical standpoint, you don't need to match your hierarchy or your HR structure, is what I call it, of teams in Spiff to match your HR. It really doesn't matter. I mean, typically the HR structure of the organization matches how you want commissions to be visible and how you want managers to get paid for their team, but it doesn't have to be. So if you're ever trying to mess with teams and you're just like, I've uploaded the teams from my HR and it's just not working the way that I really want it to, as long as all you care about is visibility and roll-ups and you know how that's going to interact or affect those team structures, you can blow up those team structures in Spiff, create it however you want to, name it however you want to, just knowing that it's just going to affect statement visibility for managers as well as how managers get paid with team roll-ups. All right. Well, thank you again for joining me this week. Go to saaseducators.com. There's a link down in the comments. Come to saaseducators.com. I am teaching classes all throughout the country. We're about a month left in our fall season, and then you won't see me again. You'll see me here, but you won't see me in person at those classes until spring. I do fall and spring seasons, or I call them semesters sometimes. So come and join me for the fall season that is finishing up, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.